breaking into the industry from that aspect?
I think if people out there have the talent and they have the drive, it will just happen, honestly. And I think it's almost a self-regulating thing. Whereas if
I like
you
that
are that,
answer, actually.
if you are that, I mean, I was talking to Wyeth. He's one of our artists over the weekend, and he had a friend of his that said if I think it was actually Richard Gray who works at Ritual slash Mumbo Jumbo Level Lord, and he was saying if you have to ask how to get in the gaming industry, then you can't get in the gaming industry. It's like this Fight Club rule, right? Like you will figure it out. You will kick and scream and search all day long over the internet. You will find websites that will give you tips. You will find schools. You will skip that Friday night going out drinking with your friends when you're 21 and stay at home working on your mod. I mean, there was years when I just, spent so much time at my computer instead of, going out and being a typical kid and being an idiot because this is what I wanted to do. And you have to be prepared to sacrifice and also, work the hours and then also a certain amount of God-given talent and also playing enough games and having a good enough shit filter, pop culture, being, a person who's well versed in all forms of entertainment. I think it's one of those things where if you want to, you will figure out a way.
I honestly do not think that I've heard that question answered any better than what you just said. Because I feel exactly the same way coming from a line of, game broadcasting, which is essentially how I broke into this business. I remember those nights of sacrifice. I remember giving up entire weekends to cover an Unreal Tournament or Quake 3 competition that maybe only 500 people would ever see. But, I'm going to cut this piece out specifically as a standalone part because I don't think you could have said it any better. Self-regulated is the best way to subscribe that. I mean, people can give you tips and offer suggestions and maybe even some of their own experiences, but I think you're absolutely right. Like, everything is already out there for you to learn from. The mistakes have been made, the resources are there. So
And
I
I'll tell
think
you,
it's
it's it's
fantastic.
it, it's not like we have to turn people away at our door. I believe we're one of the top, if not the top, development studios in the world today, and we do have a very very picky hiring process. But at the
Of
same
course.
time, we still it's tricky for us finding talent because I don't know if there's not enough talent out there. I don't know if people haven't figured out the proper way to get into it, but go buy Gears of War, make a fucking level, and get criticism from your friend, and spend the hours working it, and also post it on a website. Get
Right.
feedback. If you're a CG CG artist, go on cgtalk.com, post your work, take a class. I mean, just learn. I mean, it's the same way that anybody can do it, and the brass ring is there, and if people want to grab it, they should just grab the damn thing.
So who do you, because a lot of people say, they look up to Cliffy B in the industry. Here's a guy who basically made something out of nothing and took his franchises and his works and elevated into something fantastic. So, with that being said, who do you look up to in the industry? Who are your influences?
I've always looked up to Miyamoto. I mean, that's no secret. I
Right.
mean, he's the reason why I'm in this business because he single-handedly managed to capture that feeling that I had when I was a child, going around in the woods and exploring and finding snakes and frogs and things like that, right?
Right.
And it's amazing how a man who 20 years my senior, who's 6,000 miles plus away in Japan, could completely capture that feeling that a kid growing up in New England would have, right? And to me, that's
It's a
gaming is
powerful
a
thing.
it absolutely, and gaming's about empowerment, but it's about speaking to the hero that you want to be and the child within, and nobody has done that as well as Miyamoto has.
Awesome. Awesome. I personally think the guy is a legend as well. So this one might get a big quash from you, but if you could make a game without any technical restrictions, what kind of game would you make?
I have no idea, man. It's really a matter of opening up my notebooks and finding which idea is the one that's going to be
The
created.
craziest and yeah, yeah.
I honestly like the fact that there are restrictions involved in game development because it's those rules that help make us make decisions. And a game developer that doesn't have a deadline and a game developer that never makes decisions never ships his fucking product.
Well, aren't you always trying to figure out how to sort of bend and break these rules too? I mean, you always want to find out, can I make this do this or can I make this do that? I mean, ultimately, that's how we get innovation and that's how we get advancement, especially with our next generation consoles, right?
Well, it's people quote thinking outside the box. It's people taking a system that they didn't think was capable of much more and just squeezing that little bit extra out of it. It's but there's still rules to be had there, and when you can come up with something that is initially within those constraints and kind of bend outside of it, I mean that's when it starts getting interesting. And the fact that
Yeah.
you look at Grand Theft Auto 3 and they were able to create this open world on a PlayStation 2, and it's just it with streaming on the DVD. It was just unbelievable. And so from my end, it's I don't really know what that game is yet, but I'll tell you when it comes out.
All right, all right. I'll be looking forward to that. So, one more question that I just want to ask you: what you're watching on TV? So, because this has been a big topic lately, and because we've had so many titles coming out, especially gosh, this week we've got Mario Galaxy, we've got Mass Effect, or excuse me, yeah, is it Assassin's Creed or Mass Effect that comes out tomorrow? I forget. Anyway, over these next couple weeks, you got all these titles coming out.
Assassin's Creed.
It is, thank you. So one of the things that it seems to be ongoing is the amount of hype, and you all kind of alluded to it earlier where you said a lot of our games are kind of like reaching a more mass media market. We saw Assassin's Creed buy out a 2.5 minute commercial spot to advertise during this program, etc. But my question to you is this: do you feel, Cliffy, like too much hype can actually kill a game, or can actually have a very negative impact to it?
It can if the game isn't that good. I mean, when we had all the hype in the world for Gears, and thankfully we stepped up to the plate and we delivered a game that lived up to that hype, which is what the reviewers said.
Right.
But if you hype up that game and it's like a movie that gets all the hype and comes out, I mean, you might be able to fool the moviegoer week one, you might be able to fool the gamers week one, but after that, you're not going to have legs.
Forever.
Yeah, I mean, you need to have legs in any business in order to survive. You can't just have a great opening weekend and then just fall off, right? And it's the same thing with games, film, everything. So you need to make a game that continues to sell for months after it comes out. And if you hype that game up and you're not sure if it's that good of a game, it's going to come back on you twofold.
Awesome. Well, I know that we've actually already gone over the time that we were allotted with you, Cliffy. So if you don't mind, I've just got a couple questions. The last time that we had you on the air, we had a very pleasant discussion about television and movies, et cetera, et cetera. I'd love to hear what you're watching these days. And then actually, I've got a Buffy and Angel question for you. So what are you watching anything on the boob tube these days?
I'm hardly watching any TV these days, man. I just, at the end of the day, it's like I'd rather just like play a game or take my dog out or just do something chill that just doesn't involve always, sitting there vegging in front of a TV. I mean, I started watching Dexter on DVD, which is actually a pretty cool little show.
Yeah, absolutely. Loved it.
And, I watch House occasionally. And other than that, that's pretty much it, man. Like, I don't watch anywhere near as much TV as I used to.
Well, I remember the last time we spoke that we found out that one another were big, Buffy and Angel fans. I just wanted to clue you in. I don't know if you're a comic guy at all. Are you a comic guy at all? Are you?
Yeah,
so,
and I found season 8 to be excruciating, to be honest.
Really? Okay. Now I've actually heard that, I haven't read it myself, but I've actually heard that it's been doing well enough that they're going to do Angel season 6 in comics as well.
Yeah, I was never that big of an Angel fan. It always seemed like a big distraction from Joss's primary duties on Buffy. But the thing is I love comic books, but I hate the whole floppy like month to month bullshit.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're getting like 30 seconds of story once a month, and I can't do it. I started reading World War Hulk. And I loved like the first few issues of it, and then like I'm like, okay, now I have to wait another month. Like this is worse than a TV show where I have to wait, a week for 20 minutes of entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna wait for the trade paperback to come out, and that's when I'm gonna read all my comic books. So I'll just, I'll be a little bit behind the times, fine. But you know what? I'll go to the shop and I'll walk out with $100 worth, stack of the thick trades, and I'll just read those and pour through them because that's the only way to do comics and graphic novels.
Absolutely. In fact, speaking of another one, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, The Walking Dead, which is now in like issue 50, so you could probably get quite a few of the back. It's unbelievable. The
Really?
Walking Dead. It's I don't know if you're a fan of 30 Days a Night at all, or ever read that graphical novel, but
Yeah, there's a few of them. It was rather good actually.
yeah. So this is basically a zombie one. It's fantastic.
There's a Superman retelling. I can't remember the name of it right now for the love of God. But it was about this boy that There's this guy Kevin in the office. He's a really smart guy, and he's always my like go-to guy for good recommendations, as well as Jeff. And it's this boy is raised in small town Kansas, and this is the real world in which comic book characters exist. And his parents, the last name is Kenton, and the parents actually named him Clark Kent. And then everybody's made fun of him his whole life. Call him Superman, give him shit, buy him Superman toys for Christmas, blah 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 blah. One day he's out, sleeping in a sleeping bag, and he has a bad dream, and he wakes up, and he's 50 feet in the air floating. And then they just go.
And that's the basis of the comic. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and for the love of God, I can't remember the name of it because I read it like about a month ago, but it was unbelievable. So
I'll look it up.
Just look it up, and I guarantee you'll be able to find it. It's phenomenal.
Awesome. I will. Well, Cliffy, once again, I just want to thank you for coming on the show. It's definitely nice to get some insight. Of course, Gears of War just released for the PC, and if you haven't had a chance to check it out and you got a beastly little rig there, a great experience is waiting for you. Just head on over and purchase a copy of Gears of War for the PC. And if you got a 360, you haven't played it yet, well, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for because, again, you're missing out on a great experience. Cliffy, I know you won't let us know what you're working on. Only Mexico, which sounds like it's going to be hard work in itself. But we will be catching up with you soon, definitely, once you've got some plans solidified and you could talk about it a little bit. But I want to say congratulations on Gears of War, and also please extend our congratulations to the guys working on UT3. We've all been playing the demos over here, and it's been a lot of fun, fragging the hell out of each other. So please pass that along to the guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Let's try to make it a little bit sooner between visits next time.
Let's do it, Cliffy. I appreciate it, man.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, man.
That is Cliffy B, of course, the creator of many, many wonderful things.